Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It is Tuesday, the 13th of May. Well, it's all going off, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? A million things to talk about on this show, mainly with one topic. But before we get into that, I'm your normal host, Dave Davis. Not quite true. Dave Hendrick's on holiday, so I'm covering for him today. Here to talk to you about all the things related to LFC, all the stories that are out there. I think we know what you're all going to focus on, but we'll get into it right now. What are the latest LFC headlines? What are the things coming into? Now, before we even started, Luke Anthony had put there in the chat panel, I think it's only a matter of time. Makes sense, all about rotation. I bet we know what Luke's thinking there, ladies and gents. But that, rightly or wrongly, is not where I'm going to start. We're going to start with something a bit more official and Dominic Szoboszlai talking. So well worth a read this, ladies and gents. Szoboszlai's done an exclusive interview with the official site, and you can see on the screen there, look at that magnificent bastard. Winning the league was our target. It's special to have done it. Not going to give you it all because there's plenty to get into there and some really honest answers. But this one I wanted to reference. What's this season been like for you? Been a whipping boy at times, Szoboszlai, hasn't he? Been real up and downs, different thoughts about his performance. But let's have a look at what he said. He said, unbelievable. There have been ups and downs. Being first in the Champions League group stage, but then going out against Paris, going to the cup final, but then losing against Newcastle too. So there's certainly been ups and downs. It's been an intense season. But of course, winning the Premier League was our ultimate target, and it's very special to have done that. Yeah, do you know what? I absolutely don't really care now about going out to Paris and the Carabao. And you think differently. It might still live long in your memory. That's not right or wrong. But we've won the league, people. We should just be absolutely buzzing. And it is, I'm not really want to give you, no, actually, I was going to give you another quote from that. But you can read it yourselves. Well worth 5 minutes on your time or of your time on the official website. Dominic Szoboszlai. Remember that. Winning the league was our target. And that's been the target for this season. As Christophe Dugarry says there, the French international, the league is the ultimate. And it is. It's why we should all be happy. And it's funny I'm saying that or referencing that because if you almost rewind back 24 hours or so around all the Trent stories and how the fan base was feeling and all those different bits. And I said on Newsround yesterday, we can be a long time in football. Don't be surprised if certain things move on, if it's seen a bit different. I tell you who's moved on quickly, Arne Slot and those players. Has anyone seen the footage this morning? The players are on the piss, people. The players are on the piss. They're on a yacht in Dubai. Now, actually, a bit of info if anyone's seen that. It's one of the yachts, and I don't know this series as I'm saying it. I don't know the reference, but apparently on Below Deck is one of the yachts that's used for filming there. It's a well-known TV series. I've never seen it. You may know it better than me. But essentially, there's Ali having a beer, eyeing up a luxury buffet. There's the other players top just sunbathing, enjoying themselves, having a bit of a laugh. Don't know if too much stressed about who's leaving, who's this or that. They're all just on it. Fair play to them. Now, the only thing with seeing that I'm certain about is if I was a betting man, tell you what, I'll probably have a fiver on Brighton winning this Monday because that's the players. And the manager should always lead by example. What a boy Arne Slot is. Has anyone seen or heard this clip? Club, Ibiza. What a man. There is Arne Slot. Not in Dubai yesterday, but in Ibiza, Ocean Beach Club, enjoying himself. So if you think about how the players are looking at it this week, well, they're not even together with the manager. That might be different now as we stand. Obviously, I don't know Arne Slot's exact location, but Arne Slot's enjoying himself in Ibiza. The players are enjoying themselves on a yacht in Dubai. Don't see anyone stressing there over transfer targets. Don't see anyone stressing there over Trent leaving. I don't even know if he's there. But essentially, what do you take from that? Who cares? Their heads are on it. They're enjoying themselves. They're relaxed. It's a great visual message to send to us, isn't it? Just enjoy this whole period. One message it also says to us, and David Lynch mentioned this on Media Matters yesterday, as he said, for his information, they're training 1 day a week. I don't even know if they're going to clock 1 day this week, to be honest, but does it really matter for them? I think you'll know, but yeah, I'm going to flutter on Brighton this weekend, but look at them lads. Look at them enjoying ourselves. They're not fighting as a fan base, squab, anything like that. So let's just keep the same energy. I tell you what is bringing energy, though, ladies and gents. Oh, before I go further, this photo I wanted to show, actually. I don't like this. When we wanted Arne Slot to be looking at youth products or recruiting youthfully, I didn't mean go to Wayne Lineker for advice, Arne, for fuck's sake, in all honesty. That is not a person I like to see him with, but he's enjoying himself at the same time. And I know what you're enjoying. You're enjoying all the stories around this because we're all thinking it could be a bit of a quiet week. But again, I mentioned this on News Round. Now that a lot of seasons starting to come to fruition and decisions made, what might be happening on the transfer front? Ladies and gents, we are off to the races. Transfer time, aren't we? And it's Frimpong's guaranteed coming up on the inside, followed by Vertside, TK at Canter, and Alvarez is the dream on the outside hurdle. Everyone is off to this now, aren't they? Transfers seem to be the talking point. And there's only one place to start with, isn't there, ladies and gents? I don't know if you've heard of this player. There's not been too much today. Jeremy Frimpong, Bayer Leverkusen, Dutch international, 23 years old, rapid. And a lot of people are kind of taking this, that this is done completely. Now, there is more smoke than the Pope's chimney. I absolutely get this. And there's some of your favourite people in the mix, or not, as the case may be. As Fabrizio Romano tweeted a few hours ago, Liverpool are advancing in talks to sign him after contract reported last week. They've approached him to discuss the release clause structure. So Fabrizio, of course he is in the mix for this one. Kicker also reported it, didn't they? Liverpool are very close to sign him. 24, sorry, not 23. Talks have gone very well and are set to be concluded with a contract. They're even saying all the way through till 2030. So there's a lot of smoke, I think it's fair to say, with this one. Now, I've got a few concerns. I can't backtrack on that. I'm not going to lie. There's a fair few questions about that. One thing I do want to pick up on, a lot of people have said this, because I don't know what's happened to listening, context, analysis. People just want a note, don't they, at the moment? But Linkius, apologies if I'm pronouncing your name wrong there. Sorry, said David Lynch was wrong about Frimpong. We had David Lynch on Media Matters. He was quite honest to say he'd heard the name, he mentioned that, but from a trusted source that he respected, saying that he wasn't ruling out Frimpong. He didn't say that, but that Liverpool might not go for him and he might be one of the alternatives. If If you don't believe me, ladies and gents, just go back and listen to it yesterday. But I think there's been a bit of misreporting around what was said. And before anyone asked me, how do you know? Well, I did the freaking interview, didn't I? So of course I'd know. Just, yeah, some misquotes, I think it's fair to say, attributed to him that way. And a super chat there. And apologies again if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Soren, I think it is. Frimpong's season heat map is identical to Salah's. He does not defend deep, and we do not play 3-4-3. Soren doesn't seem a fan there. We need a Javaro Reed type if Connor gets injured, or to take minutes at the end of the game. An interesting one, and thank you for sharing those thoughts there, Soren. We've got to get into it, haven't we? All the smoke's there. Jeremy Frimpong. Mixed. I can't be hypocritical and pretend, because I said this last time. Mixed. I get the logic in the tick column, as I said last time. Rapid. Over 36 kmh, and the Bundesliga post their physical stats, so you can check that if you want. Most sprints in the Bundesliga. Another fact, I like Rafa, don't have facts, but up and down, so fast. Physicality. And we talked about this yesterday. You do wonder if it almost has the on a slot name check Takimi, doesn't it? How much has he been influenced by those PSG fullbacks who do bomb up and down all day at pace? So I get that excitement at the same time. And Anfield Raw, they're saying, I'm excited by Frimpong. I don't want a Ben White type. I want an attacking flyer. Certainly, Frimpong is a flyer there, Anfield Raw, and he doesn't use fake tan like Ben White either, but that's probably a different discussion there. So there's that. Homegrown. This release clause is important as well, because a few people have commented on this. A few people saying that the release clause can be paid in full, split that way. So it's ideal, exactly what Michael Edwards would like to do. Chris Williams came out on this. A shout out to him, a well-known Bundesliga expert, to say that wasn't the information. That's not the information he's got around the way that would be structured with Leverkusen, that actually it would be 2 payments of 20 million euros, or Liverpool would have to do one of those deals like they did with Szoboszlai, where they take, Mo Chatra's mentioned this, they take a loan for it, they can pay it all at once and then spread out to make the repayment terms favourable. So that's just an important thing to know at the same time. So there are positives there. You can't debate it, and there's a lot of smoke. And it's nothing new when we look at Frimpong's, FB ref profile. And I'm not saying anything different. I mean, progressive passes received, 99th percentile. Touches in the attacking penalty area, 99th percentile compared to other fullbacks. Progressive carries over 4 a game, 90th percentile. Yeah, I mean, you can see it's a sea of green compared to other fullbacks on the attacking metrics. And Anfield Raw following up, it's a release clause. Does it mean we pay it all? No negotiation. I think what Chris was saying is Liverpool, if they are in, will be negotiating how that is paid. Is it 2 lots of 20? It seems more likely, but it kind of pours score on the 4 lots of, was it 7.5 million that way? Or sorry, the 10 million, 4 lots of 10, wasn't it? Sorry, doing bad maths there, not Carol Vorderman, am I? So just that's what it's being referred to. Okay. However, on the defensive metrics, we can't change this either. His highest one is the 36th percentile for blocks. In interceptions, the 3rd. Clearances, the 1st, the lowest percentile. So that all this is in the mix. And I don't know, people are all saying we're going to change setup. I don't know. People saying he could cover Bradley, but also, Mo, possibly. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks around this. But all you can essentially say is there's a lot of smoke around Jeremy Frimpong. And if you delve a bit deeper into his attacking profile, his passing ain't the best as well, ladies and gents. The headline numbers like assists are good, but just, look at that. Passes completed, short, medium. And his highest there is 28th percentile. So all that comes into the mix. I don't know. But what I won't accept, though, is this revisionism of people going, he's a brilliant defender. People are reading this wrong. No, there's no evidence of that. There's limited as a few of your various people, and a shout out to a few like Jimmy Brobley, have put on there, but it is a limited and it's difficult to analyse with him being a right wing back or the way Leverkusen play. So I'm not falling into that either. I mean, but you see all this goal and shot creation is green across the board compared to other fullbacks. There is some positives in his defence. I wanted to bring this on the screen. When he presses and tackles in the attacking third, he is in the 66th percentile. That's important to mention. He doesn't lose many challenges. He's in the 69th percentile. He doesn't make that many, it's fair to say as well, but you've got to look at this as you can. The passes blocked is in the 64th percentile. He doesn't make many errors in the 72nd percentile, which is 0.03 errors per 90, which is good. Obviously, you want that to be 0, don't you? So all that comes into the mix when you take a full delve into it. And he draws a lot of fouls as well. He's in the 75th percentile there. So all this comes into the mix for Frimpong. And I mean, he's overlaid there with Conor Bradley. I don't really think you can compare them, just the way it's done. I really will say I'm a bit unsure. I'm mixed with this, but you are all excited, and I get that. And the chat panel is flying with comments around this. All I would say either way is, if he does come, he gets my full backing. And that's not being hypocritical. So, he said he's mixed. Well, every signing we make, I want them to be the best player in the world. Of course I do, in their position. Because we're all Liverpool fans. We're all Reds, aren't we? But, yeah, I'm intrigued by a lot. Let's put it that way. But it does feel like, there's smoke galore with this, isn't there? We'll have to see what develops around Jeremy Frimpong. And the reason I'm saying that is kicker Romano, and I'm not trying to cast doubt on anyone here, but Paul Joyce has mentioned that Frimpong's a target. He's not said this is close. David Ornstein, we've not got a bomber from yet, have we? So let's just wait and see how anything develops there. Other stories on Anfield Index, Frimpong obviously dominating, but the old name on the mix, Ryan Cherki, Leon, winger, attacking midfielder. Is this the new Simao Sambrosa? Is this the new Marco Reus? This name just keeps coming up and up and up. But one of the things that's interesting is a few people are referencing, is that release clause now true, or is that amount now true? 22.5 million euros. A player that could be available for about, 17, 18 million quid? And sparking another scramble. There's a lot of scrambles for Cherki, isn't there? But, Arsenal linked, City linked. Lyon are in desperate financial trouble. It looks like they're going to miss out. It's not confirmed yet, but it looks like they're going to miss out on the Champions League spots, which means then they've got to sell players and there's a real risk of relegation. So that element is believable, isn't it? That Cherki could be available at, say, 17, 18 million, which in terms of attackers is nothing, let's be honest, in football terms, not in world terms. And you can see his profile there against other attacking midfielders and wingers. Look at the ones in the 99th or 98th percentile. It's assists, expected goals, shot creating actions over 6.5 a game, progressive passes, nearly 9 a game. Yeah, there's so much green. He is a creative outlet. He's Lyon's main man. Of course he is. Yeah, the TV deal's an issue in France as well. So don't be surprised if that market gets raided by a lot of clubs. And you look at his stats just in Ligue 1 and the Europa League. 12 goals, 18 assists, 30 goal contributions across those two. Okay? So attacking wise, unbelievable. Anyone seeing them defensive metrics? Again, the highest one is interceptions there at the 32nd percentile. Clearance is 15. And again, a bit similar to Frimpong, isn't it? 6th percentile for tackles, 2nd percentile for blocks. So all I'm saying for all these names everyone's getting excited about, imagine a side with Cherki, Frimpong, and Salah. And this isn't being critical of the Egyptian king, the demigod himself, because he's my favourite player, but that's 3 with defensive question marks. 2 where they don't really defend, do they? And we asked that of Salah, it's different. So I'm not sure you could have those 3. It doesn't mean they can't play at different times, but just on this one, this Cherki rumour goes round and round and round, doesn't it? I'm just a little bit unsure on this one. I'm not putting weight in it, but who knows? All it seems at the moment is the transfer window has started properly, and it does start properly on the 1st of June. Did anyone clock that as well? Transfer windows, number 1 and 2, will shut. Did anyone see the time? 7 p.m. Who thought that was a good idea? Where's Tim Sherwood and Harry Redknapp going to lean outside their Land Rovers? Where are we going to see the fax machine working? Where are we going to see people entering the building late at night? Where are the purple dildos in the Sky reporter's ear going to come from? Nothing that happens at 7 p.m, does it? A very foolish decision has been made excitement-wise, but we'll see, what comes up there. And Taps here, I'm pronouncing that right, saying, why are you worried about defending? You score 5, don't worry. Score 4, we'll score 5. I don't even know what I'm saying here, but honestly, the defensive concerns, if these are true, and again, I'm just saying that not to pour cold water on everything, but let's just wait until a Joyce bomber or an Ornstein bomber comes. But I appreciate there's a lot of smoke. Other stories we mentioned there as well. David Lynch on Media Matters. It does feel like Darwin Núñez holds the key to the summer. There's Luis Diaz contract talks possibly coming in there. And I get what Messi Aquatics is saying there. I'm not going to say our cheap oil. I can't be bothered getting into an FSG discussion, but value in deals. Yeah, maybe Cherki a right winger. Yeah, as well as Helio Matias says there, Cherki and Frimpong. Are we just not defending on our right side anymore? Who knows? There's a lot of question marks, but what we can be certain of an answer is the summer has started for the window already. Other things it's worth telling you about, ladies and gents, AI content coming out the wazoo for you. As we say, even in just the last 24 hours, we had David Lynch talking about Trent and his different bits and reviewing the summer windows and the different mixers. We had the Trent fallout, and Dave was speaking about that yesterday. Even as well, the top 5 race was Dave and Carl in Scouts. That's all in the last 24 hours just gone. Even coming up today and tonight for you, we've got the transfer show. Me and Trevor on live at 6:30. I'm not giving you all the stuff we've got now, you thirsty little buggers, because that's not fair. There's stuff to wait for the transfer show that's scheduled. You've got me and Bart's live. I think we're 7:30, 8:30. It will have to depend on that for Mauritius time. But we'll be previewing certain players. Frimpong might be on the Mitch and a few others. There's a million and one things going off. How true they are, we will have to see. And people asking transfer queries. Listen, this is not pretending to be any ITK. As we say on the transfer show, we just share with you what we hear, and it goes from there. But plenty coming up today alone. Oof. What a time to be alive. And just in case you are thinking, what about this player and this player? What about this? What does it mean for the formation? Let's just have a watch of these boys again. They're pissed up on a yacht in Dubai. They're not worried about it. If you're worried about our manager and head coach, he's on the piss in Ibiza at Ocean Beach Club. They are not stressed about a thing. You all know the lines to that song. Maybe the only thing we should be stressed about is what Wayne Lineker is recommending to Arne Slot. But listen, the weather's glorious. I'd probably Brighton for Monday night, but who cares? The 20 times champions are enjoying themselves. For everything else, transfer related, we will see what comes out in the wash. But there we go, ladies and gents. On Tuesday, the 13th of May, that was another Daily Red for Anfield Index.